So my husband told me that he doesn't love his stepson and that most of the time he doesn't even like him. And what do you know? Now we're getting divorced. This is a conversation that we had on December 1st, our 10-year anniversary, when he told me that he really doesn't like my son and that he resents him for the fact that I put him first and that my son is priority to me above anything else. And you know what? That's okay, because that's never going to change. So on December 1st, when we had that conversation, that's when I knew I was done. Okay, that's when I knew I was finished. I'm like, I'm so gone. Like, you don't love this child that you have raised kind of for 10 years. This kid that you've seen grow up, this kid that is a direct reflection of me, because I have poured everything in my life into raising him properly. You're going to tell me that you don't love him and that you want me to put you, a 33-year-old man, first over raising an 11-year-old boy? Absolutely not. So on our 10-year anniversary, I told him, I said, yeah, I'm done. You need help. You need to go to therapy. My son is not my soon-to-be ex-husband's child. Now, if he were his child, that would be a different story. I would choose to put my husband first because it's a direct reflection of how a man and a wife should be.
Can you see her mentality?
It should be a good example.
It's crazy.
You shouldn't have married him. And I might catch a lot of heat for this, but it's not because he's the problem. Just think about it, because what you said was that if he was your son's biological father, that you would be putting him first. But that's not the case. He's not his biological father. And even though he was there from almost the start, your son was 1 year old. That man lived 10 years in that household as a guest. He was never accepted as father or as husband. He was continuously reminded in all of the little things and all of the big things that you would choose your son over him in every single case. And not only would you silently just do what you thought what was best, you would throw it in his face, just like you are here, because your husband opened up, he was vulnerable, and he said that he had resentment towards a child. Like, he knows that's not right, but something caused it. And I would argue that it's not anything wrong within him. I would argue it is because of the dynamic of the relationship that you are a part of. And that's something that you need to be part of to fix, but you are obviously not, because you are blaming him and you are setting it up for him to fix his issue. Am I right, guys? Like, this is a very valid fear and valid reasoning as to why a man is not going to want to date a single mom.
I'm so afraid to have kids, because what if, worst case scenario, what if I have a boy?
I would feel very sorry for that child if such a person was to be their potential mother. Because unfortunately, this is really a sign of how much the prejudice against men has become almost normalized in our society, and that misandry is such a mainstream part of it, that this is not an uncommon sentiment that has been expressed by many women who despise men. They would rather not have children at all than have a boy.
Sorry, have you ever met a boy, like, at any age?
Oh, wait, this is going somewhere, and it's disturbing.
They're all obsessed with off or violent things or violently off.
Well, that was just troubling. However, I would like to take this moment to address those women out there that happen to agree with what that person said. If you are of the opinion that you do not like the way that your child is behaving, or that they are doing inappropriate things, in your opinion, do you know whose fault that is? It's not the fault of the child, because they are a child. That would be the fault of the parents or parent who does not teach their child acceptable boundaries and appropriate behaviors. Parents are responsible for raising their children to be responsible adults, but some of you just want to blame it on their gender. It's time to accept some personal responsibility.
Have to make $500,000 a year to date you.
First of all, a gold digger is a woman that goes after a man for his money. So I would date a man if he has money. I want a man with some money.
Okay, I got the money.
If you don't have, if you don't make $500,000 or more,
$500,000.
I'm not going to date you.
I have to make $500,000 a year to date you. How much do you make a year?
Well, I'm a nurse.
He has to make I have to make 500,000 a year
It's a ridiculous
to date you. So how much do you make a year? Because you have to make at least half of that, right?
Yeah.
Tell me, how much do you make a year,
I'm
babe?
not going to discuss my financial income
because you don't make
over the phone.
You don't make no.
You don't make up to 100,000.
You don't make 100,000.
Yeah.
You don't make 40,000 a year.
Where's the 40,000 a year?
A man has to make 500,000 to date you, but you don't even make six figures.
Get my number.
Where you gonna take me?
Where you want to go?
I like steakhouses. Like,
Oh, bet for sure. As long as you're paying, we can go wherever the fuck you want.
No.
Any steakhouse you
I'm
want.
not paying you.
Oh, you're not paying?
No.
I don't think this is gonna work.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it's giving broke. Yeah. Sorry. I only like a woman with money.
Cause you know it's mad weird to me. Like niggas is more concerned about why he started recording in the middle of a female in his room or tripping out. Like why is that a question? Thank God. We need to be saying thank God he was recording. Okay? Because this would have been a huge situation of my word against yours. And just how the internet jumped on her bandwagon, they would have continued to be on her bandwagon had he not had that proof. Had he not had that. Like, I see y'all asking, oh, yeah, people talking about that was weird. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it was not weird. It was very smart. Very smart as hell. And I'm so glad he pulled his phone out and recorded the conversation. Because now, old girl has continued to play in everyone's face. Now she telling y'all to wrap by 2026.
So you think just because you're a woman that you have this privilege for a man to get up out of his seat, and he's probably tired as hell too? You know what I'm saying? He probably putting in that pain, putting in that work, you feel me? At an actual job, you feel me? And you like you just got back from shopping. But you can't stand there and wait. You know what I'm saying? You want to look at all the men and like you trying to like make them feel guilty or something? You know what I'm saying? I would have been just like a old boy on the side of you and just been smiling like, yeah, shorty, this is what it is. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting down, I'm chilling. I don't know what y'all be thinking. Y'all think just because y'all got coochies that this come with some type of privilege. No, it's a different time. No bull. And then you want to say men used to go to war. Men still do go to war. So that argument is just out the window. What is the point of y'all even saying that? That means absolutely nothing. There are men that still go to war. There is men that still enlist in the military.
You're physically stronger than me. If you wanted to, you could kill me.
I would say that you would never do that. But like there is not a 0% chance of that happening either. Like these women who thought their husbands would never did. The reality of that has been weighing on me lately. And I'm scared to talk to you about it because I don't want you to like get the idea to do anything.
Thank you for sharing that with me. This must be so exhausting. For him. Bro, you are talking about a whole lot of nothing. What you are crying over isn't even a real problem.
It's crazy, guys.
This is all made up in your head.
There is no reason for a man to behave like a gentleman with a prostitute. That's kind of the whole selling point. That would be ridiculous at best and wasteful and dangerous at worst. So that's the answer to the question that began this series. Where are all the gentlemen? They disappeared when the lady went extinct. And it wasn't men who killed her. Women have proudly fought tooth and nail to escape the social restrictions that define that identity over the past 60 years. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that modern women want the best of both worlds. They want the social freedom of the prostitute and the respectability of the lady. And that just doesn't make sense. Like, one person can't be both a lady and a prostitute at the same time. If these designations are to have any meaning whatsoever, they need to be grounded in objective phenomena. And while it's always kind of easy for a lady to become a prostitute, it's very, very difficult for a prostitute to become a lady. It is possible, like the Empress Wu, who started out as a concubine in Chinese history, But it is much more difficult than the opposite. So let's be real. The standard template for a woman's behavior in the sex marketplace today is to engage in casual sex without commitment through their 20s and then settle down into marriage around 30. That is, they want to enjoy the social freedom of a prostitute for 10 to 15 years, and then they want the respectability of a lady for the rest of their lives. And unfortunately, that doesn't make sense to men. In fact, this is exacerbated even further by recent dating trends. The rise of soft life girls and women who say reject coffee dates and expect greater effort from men drive this point home. These women do not complain that men are expecting sex without marriage. They complain that men are being stingy with their resources. Does this sound like a lady who is upset she is being treated like a prostitute? Or like a prostitute who is clamoring for a raise? Let's do some math. Dinner for two at a high-end restaurant, $200. Taxis there and back, $60. After dinner drinks, $80. That comes to around $350 out of pocket. So when women today insist that they only consent to dates where they are wined and dined, they think they are communicating that they are high-value ladies who know their worth. When in reality, they are advertising that their opportunity costs $350, which is actually on the low end when it comes to escorts in most major Western cities. On some level, this makes these women both unsuccessful ladies and unsuccessful. They're unsuccessful ladies because a lady would not transact her opportunity outside of commitment, and they're unsuccessful because, well, the successful ones charge more. And that's where we are in today's day and age. A lady is a woman with a relatively low body count, which means that she's only transacted her sexual opportunity outside of commitment a few times, who expects greater upfront resource expenditure in the courtship process. And I think it's fair to say that this is so far from the original definition of the word lady that we probably shouldn't keep using it, though the residual connotations are certainly beneficial to the women who have appropriated it. And this isn't likely to change anytime soon. Why? Because a woman who tries to put on the other side of commitment today is going to be priced out of the marketplace, especially if she is not a young virgin. This is because she'd be making her opportunities significantly more expensive relative to her interest competition. And people, men and women, don't pay more than they need to for any given good. So such a woman would frankly have to be so extraordinary in so many other respects that such a strategy would be inaccessible to most women by definition. And besides, women have shown no indication that they want to go back to the way things were. The general feeling here is that women should be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, with whomever they want, etc. The general understanding is that marriage is a convention that was based on patriarchal repression of women. They didn't get anything good out of that, being ladies. And any convention that restricts modern women's permissiveness is going to be perceived as controlling and repressive. And it's like, fair enough. I also love my freedom a lot, so I can understand why women would be loath to dispense with theirs. Nor am I arguing to go back to the way things were. They can't. The genie does not go back into the bottle. What I am arguing is that we all see reality as clearly as possible and make decisions in light.
Makes sense. I know a lot of women are going to disagree with him, and I'm not surprised. A lot of women want to enjoy their 20s by partying, living a life, enjoying, sleeping as many as they want. Then when they get to their 30s, they want to settle down. They want to live like a wife. They want to have their wife treatment, their lady treatment till they grow of age and die. But that is not how it's That's not how it's always turned out to be. The reason why is because whenever you want to live your life, your younger age, partying, having like 20 body counts, 30 body counts, you're not a lady anymore. You're not a lady anymore. You're turning to a whore. It's as simple as that. Either they tell you or they do not tell you. It's the truth. So when you're having like 30, 50 body count, like that's ridiculous. That is too much for a lady. You understand? The dignity of a woman is how she preserve herself, is how she keep herself, is how she do not allow herself being loose or being penetrated by any man. Let me put it like this. That is where the dignity is. But this modern day now, with women have actually lost that. And this modern day women are looking for traditional treatments of when man open the door, treat them very nice, pamper them, show them care and love, in some other gestures. But the dignity that makes those traditional men to take care of those traditional women at that time, the modern day women have lost it, but they are still looking for traditional men. Do you understand? It's crazy because you don't expect a man to take you extremely very serious when he knows that you have like 30, 40 body counts. And at a very young age, you see some of them, 23 years, 24, they have gotten like 30 body counts. How? How? Before they'll date you, you have to make this certain amount of money. With your 30 body counts, with your 40 body counts, like, are you crazy? They expect you to make at least $150,000 a year, $200,000 a year, $500,000 according to these women a year. Like, what is the percentage of men who make such a year in the world? Like, what is that's 6 figures, guys. What is the percentage of men who make such? And you see that they have a lot of, the women who are demanding that, they have a lot of baggage. A lot of baggage. Like, you'll be like, how ridiculous can you be? It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. So you, as a man, you have to be very careful. You have to be very observant. You have to be very picky. You have to be very cautious. Because don't let any woman make you feel less of yourself. Make you feel like you are not a man enough. Make you feel like you are not good enough. No, never allow them use that manipulative words on you. Like the woman who was standing on the train, who was acting like her leg hurts. She's carrying some bag like she just came back from shopping. And those other men did not just answer her. Because those other men who are sitting down on the train, they are also tired. They just be like, why don't you be a gentleman and allow her sit? No. What? No. Don't let any woman make you feel less of yourself as a man. Like you're not gentle enough, you're not caring enough, you're not loving enough. No. Set standard as a man. Set what you accept, what you do not accept. Set boundaries. Once you cross that boundary, to cut them off. It's as simple as that. Set boundaries. Don't let any woman make you feel like you have to agree to what they want you to do. That's what they want. They want a simp. They want someone who will say, do this. A puppet. The man will go do it. Do that. The man will go do that. No. Don't let any woman make you feel less of yourself. Don't let any woman control you in their aspects. Never lost that manly power. Comment down below what you think about this video. Give us a thumbs up. Share this video as many as you can. Subscribe to our channel, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay safe.